Hey everybody, my name's Mike Montgomery, and as you may know, I just got done building a school bus tiny house. And this weekend, I made a community post on YouTube asking for questions that you guys want answered, either things about the build process or what I plan on doing with the bus. That way, we're both on the same page. It's been a long time since I've done a Q&A video, but I'm excited to do one today, so let's get started on modern builds. So this school bus tiny house project has been really big for me. This is by far the biggest project that I've done on YouTube. In the past, all of my projects have been self-contained videos. But this bus was the first time that I tried breaking down one big project into multiple episodes. And even though I wish I was able to put these episodes out a little bit quicker, it was really just the coolest thing for me to see y'all tuning in each time I posted. This has totally encouraged me to take on big projects like this in the future, and I've already got my next big project in the works. You guys blew up that community feed post. Thanks for everybody who asked a question and everybody that thumbs up the ones that they wanted to hear some answers to. I'm gonna run through as many as I can, but before I do, I wanna give a big thanks to Squarespace, who's the sponsor of today's video. If you've seen my videos in the past, then there's a good chance you've seen me promote Squarespace before. They've been sponsoring Modern Builds for over 2 years now. If you need to build a website or an online store or just get a custom domain, Squarespace is your one-stop shop. They've got a super intuitive interface that allows you to build your own website with zero website building experience. Squarespace templates look incredible right out of the gate. All you need to be able to do is upload files or drag and drop text blocks, and you are well on your way to creating a one-of-a-kind website. And right now, if you follow the link down in my description, that's squarespace.com/modernbuilds, and use the promo code modernbuilds at checkout, you can get 10% off your first website or domain. And what's really cool about Squarespace is they're optimized to look great on desktop, tablet, or mobile, no matter where your customers find you. So one more time, big thanks Squarespace, and make sure and follow that link down in the description. Promo code modernbuilds. Now let's start answering these questions. Okay, question 1. I will put them up on the screen as I read them. Who's gonna live in the bus, and are you going to travel with it? My game plan is to stay in this bus while I renovate my next big project, which is a house. I'll be staying in here while I do all of the rough demo and construction. That way I'm not breathing in all of that dust. It also lets me keep the house a mess and have a good place to live, edit, and work. Once those renovations are complete and I move into the house, my plan is to then park the bus in the backyard, and it'll effectively be a guest house for anybody that wants to come over and stay. And if you've been watching, then you know that I've configured the bathroom and the kitchen to have holding tanks for fresh, gray, and black water underneath in the understow compartments. This is gonna allow me to use the bus as an RV, which is really fun. I think I'm gonna be able to travel to different YouTubers and collaborate, whether it's making builds or collaborating with some people that are outside of the maker scene. Regardless, as soon as the world opens back up, I think I'm gonna be planning the Maker Tour 2021. The next question starts the same, but then asks if I'm ever gonna Airbnb the bus. And the answer to that is probably not. Out here in Joshua Tree, California, the Airbnb scene is pretty big. A ton of people vacation out here from LA since it's about a 2-hour drive, and there's Joshua Tree National Park with a lot of great nature and climbing. But I've talked to a few people with Airbnbs, including my buddy Ben Ueda from Homemade Modern. He recently did a shipping container house and had that listed on Airbnb for about 6 months. And what I learned from him is there is a lot of time and maintenance in owning an Airbnb property. There's a lot of time in just maintaining the listings and making sure that guests are able to check in and out, but there's also a lot of time in just maintenance. When people are on vacation, they tend to be a little bit rougher on cabinets and drawers, faucets, and fixtures. And based on Ben's experience, the last thing I want to do is spend a lot of my time maintaining this bus for guests instead of making YouTube videos for you guys. So my plan is to keep it as a guest house, and I think that'll be best. Johnny Brook from Crafted Workshop asked, when am I driving the bus out to Asheville? And I'm assuming to do another collab. I want to do another project with Johnny. We've done a few collaborations in the past, and I think our best was the live edge slab that we poured molten aluminum into. That video is on his channel and you should check it out. It is absolute chaos. We straight up poured molten metal into the voids of a live edge slab like you would with epoxy, and as you can imagine, there were some complications. But all in all, that project turned out awesome, and I did a DIY hairpin legs video while I was there. Make sure and check both of those out. Either way, me and Johnny need to make another viral hit soon, so if you have any project ideas that we should collaborate on, leave a comment down in the description. What made you pick a bus instead of something else like a van or a shipping container, something that you could even haul? I've done quite a bit of camping, especially when I was young. I even stayed in a travel trailer for a little while my parents were building the house that I grew up in. And if there's one thing that I know is that I don't want to have to detach the tiny house to be able to drive around anywhere if I'm traveling. I think a lot better solution is something like the bus, where I'm able to drive what I'm living in and tow the truck behind it. For me, this just seems practical, but if I'm not pulling the truck, I could always pull a motorcycle or a trailer and have a lot more towing storage. And in regards to doing something small like a van or a Sprinter, the reason I didn't do one of those is just too small. The tiny house's primary function is not to be an RV rather than a stationary tiny house. And to round out that question, part 3, why no shipping container? And the answer is because Ben, who I just mentioned, just got done doing one, and the last thing I want to do is copy what he did. So ultimately, I couldn't be more happy with the bus decision. I think it's the perfect compromise between having a lot of space, like what you get out of a shipping container, but the versatility of being able to travel easier, like what you would out of a fifth wheel or a camper. Next, the bathroom vanity. I'd love to see what you did with it and whether it actually came out. Well, I'm happy to report that that project is complete. I've been keeping it super secret because I wasn't sure if it was gonna actually come through. I had quite a bit of complications, but that video will be coming out later this week and I am super excited for y'all to see it. Next question, what am I gonna do with those windows that are either behind the bathroom walls or have backsplash in the kitchen in front of them? Well, I've got a little secret. I'm actually posting 2 project videos this week, the epoxy sink and painting the bus. So the full answer is coming soon, but the short answer is I just painted over those windows and it worked perfect. One of the more common questions is whether or not the tile held up whenever I moved the bus. And I've got great news. Nothing bad happened at all. Now that's not to say that the tile will never break and it is impervious to cracks, but so far, so good. It's funny, I think a lot of people assume that I'm the first person to put tile in a bus, but I did a lot of research before I did any building, and this is actually something pretty common to do. I'd never seen anybody use square tile, but I've seen subway tile in school bus tiny houses all the time. So instead of just assuming it would crack, I wanted to try it out. That way I could make as good of a recommendation as possible to my viewers. And like I said, we haven't had any failure on the tile or adhesive so far, but if I do, I will let you know. I'll be sure to post it on my Instagram and maybe even a follow-up here on YouTube. Next question, why did I paint the floors instead of installing click lock vinyl floors like I see all the time in other school bus projects? And that answer is just because I like the way it looks. I think I mentioned earlier in this series, I really want to try and preserve the actual look and feel of a bus inside of this space. In my personal opinion, I see a lot of overbuilt school bus tiny houses to where they build out so many custom cabinets, face the walls and cover so many windows that you don't even know you're in a bus if you're inside of it. Now that's definitely impressive from a building standpoint. From my point of view though, I would much rather it feel like a bus, which is what it is, rather than try and hide that or cover it up. So painting the original floors with the tread going down the center really preserved that look like I mentioned earlier. Next, how long did it took you on making the bus? About 6 months, which was longer than I expected. Making these 20, 30-minute long episodes take a long time to edit, and that's really the hardest part of this whole process. Each of these episodes probably have about 15 days of building, but another 5 or 7 days of editing and getting pickup shots. That way I can make the videos as good as I can. So for now, I'm gonna suck it up and make as many videos as possible. Who knows, maybe I can come up with a new show format that someone else can edit. Otherwise, I really foresee myself continuing to edit my videos just because I like my style of editing. The second most common question I got was about the costs of the project. How much I bought it for, how much work had to go into it, and how much I had to pay for the materials and supplies for it. Well, I'm into the bus for 10 grand, 2 of that going to mechanics for parts and labor. If you watched episode 1, then you know that whenever I got the bus, it wasn't actually a school bus. Someone had already tried to convert this into some kind of redneck hunting RV, and it was trashy. My cousin bought it from that person, and then I bought it from him for 8 grand, the same price he paid. That was all the way back in Oklahoma. This school bus belonged to El Reno Public Schools, which is not too far outside of Oklahoma City, where I'm from. In fact, I remember playing that school in high school football. After I bought it, I drove it all the way across the country to Joshua Tree, where the plan was for me and Ben to work on 2 big projects, his shipping container home and my school bus. He's got the container completed, now I've got the bus completed, and now we're both moving on to even bigger projects. So far, the materials and supplies costs are right around 5 grand, a little bit over that, but I've still got a little bit more money to spend. I've got to get the holding tanks and a few other accessories, but once I get completely done and post a moving into the school bus episode, I will give the exact cost breakdown. I've saved all of my receipts. A lot of people are curious what color the outside is gonna be, and if you saw the beginning of the video, then you know. But aside from that, I am doing no more teasing. Shelly asked, why did I make the bathroom so narrow? I could have easily made it wider so I had more room for doing my business. If you ask me, this is plenty of room, and the shower isn't gonna get used a ton. During the renovation, I even plan on building an outdoor shower, that way I don't tax the holding tanks as much. So for me, more living space is more valuable than more bathroom space. I also had a few questions on the general inspiration for the space, and my whole plan going into this, like I said, was just to preserve the feel of a bus. I knew aside from that, I wanted to introduce a lot more colors because that's something that's totally new to me. Throughout the majority of modern builds videos I've made, I've really stuck to bright white color palettes. That's definitely an easy fallback, but with such a quirky project like what this bus is, I thought it was a cool opportunity to be able to introduce color in a way that I haven't before. Some inspiration I would give is Kerf Design, actually. They're somebody that Johnny Brook introduced me to, and they make really cool cabinets and built-ins with no face frames. I don't know if they were the first people doing integrated handles into their cabinetry, but they've made some really cool designs around it. The other big tool that I used was just Pinterest. It's such an awesome resource for design inspiration because it's really the cutting edge of where design is going on the internet. It takes a lot of effort to make YouTube videos about an idea, so it takes a while for those ideas to eventually trickle down. But it's really easy to build something, take a picture, and post it to Pinterest. Pinterest is sort of home base for a lot of designers, architects, and artists. So if you're looking for where styles and trends are going, I would for sure recommend looking there first. All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope this Q&A answered some of the questions that you might have had about this series. I've got big news and a lot of videos coming out very soon, so make sure and click the subscribe button, and until next time, this has been Modern Builds. Bye, everybody. Oh, wait, also, I'm running a merch sale if you want hats, shirts, or anything else. Everything is 50% off. Bye.